You ever notice how your evenings disappear? One moment you're closing your laptop, the next moment it's midnight and you swear you only opened Instagram for a second. And that's exactly why most people think they could never learn the secret to reading a book in a week, even if they have no time. But here's the uncomfortable truth. You don't need more time. You need fewer leaks. Because time isn't stolen by big emergencies. It's evaporated by tiny unconscious habits. And the craziest part? You don't even notice them until someone shows you the pattern you've been trapped inside. Imagine this. 7 days from now, you close a book you've actually finished. And for the first time in months, you feel your brain waking up again. That's not motivation. That's system design. And once you learn this system, you'll never look at your free time the same way again. It's not your fault you can't read consistently. Your brain isn't wired for long-term focus. It's wired for the fastest reward available. And in today's world, the fastest reward is a glowing rectangle that understands your weaknesses better than you do. But here's the twist. You don't need discipline to read more. You need friction in the right places and freedom in the right places. Tonight, your time will either drift or it will compound. Most people ruin their free time with 8 critical mistakes they don't even realize they're making. Fix them. And finishing a book in a week becomes shockingly easy. You're reading at the wrong time, people. Try to read when their brain is already cooked. After some work, after errands, after decisions, after overstimulation. And then they wonder why the page looks like blurry wallpaper. You don't need more motivation. You need timing alignment. Your brain has a natural evening rhythm. Find DD 7 p.m. Energy crash 7, 9 p.m. Cognitive rebound 9, 11 p.m. Slow decline read during the rebound. 10 minutes, set a timer. Stop it at the buzzer even if you want more. Stopping early builds anticipation, and anticipation builds consistency. And here's the trick nobody uses. Pair reading with the first action that signals, "This is my time now." Change clothes, make dim lights. Your brain treats this like a cue, a mental doorway. Reading isn't a task, it's an identity doorway. And once that doorway opens, momentum becomes automatic. And once timing stops fighting you, the next mistake becomes impossible to ignore. You're using the wrong format. Most people think they hate reading. They don't. They hate formats that clash with their energy. If your evenings feel chaotic, don't start with a physical book. Start with audio. If your mornings feel sharp, use Kindle. If you need novelty, rotate physical plus Kindle plus audio. Format is not a commitment. It's a strategy. The secret is the tri-format loop. Listen to the book during low-energy moments. Walking, commuting, cooking. Switched to Kindle or physical during the rebound hours. Review highlights at night for 2 minutes. 1 book, 3 formats, 0 friction. When you remove friction, your brain stops negotiating. When negotiation dies, progress skyrockets. But even the perfect format collapses if you fall into the next psychological trap. And almost everyone does. You're starting books like a perfectionist. The first 30 pages of any book are the slowest pages, not because the book is bad, but because your brain is building a mental map. Characters, ideas, frameworks, tone. It feels like hard reading, but it's just onboarding. Here's the move. Skip the first chapter. Seriously. Jump straight to the chapter that grabs your attention. Find a story. Find an argument. Find a problem you actually want solved. Give your brain a win early. When your brain wins early, it returns automatically. Here's why. Novelty forces your brain to record the moment. When it records, time expands. When time expands, focus rises. This is why the first interesting part of a book becomes the anchor that pulls you through the rest. Later, once you're hooked, go back to the intro. You'll absorb it 10 times faster because your brain already understands the landscape. Reading isn't about sequence, it's about momentum. But momentum collapses instantly when you make the most common evening mistake of all. You never decompress before reading. Your brain can't go from chaos to deep focus in one step. You need a buffer, a psychological landing strip. This is where most people sabotage themselves. You try to read while your brain is still in performance mode. That's like trying to float while sprinting. The harder you try, the deeper you sink. Use a 2-minute reset. Clear your space. Change one physical thing in your environment. Soft light, slow breath, shoulders down. 2 minutes. Your entire cognitive state shifts. Your brain follows your environment. If you build the right environment, reading becomes the natural next action, not a forced one. And once your mind is ready, the next shift turns reading speed into a superpower. You're reading every word. Fatal mistake. Books are not contracts. You do not owe authors your eyeballs. Your goal isn't to read every word. Your goal is to extract value. Use the 3-speed method. Skim the chapter first, 5 seconds per page. Read the bold, the breaks, the quotes, the stories. Then read only the paragraphs that carry real weight. Your brain loves patterns. When it sees the structure first, comprehension skyrockets. Remember, you're not studying for an exam. You're building a life. Books are maps. You don't need every tree and pebble. You need the root. This alone can cut reading time in half without losing a single insight. And if you think that's powerful, wait until the next one, because this is where weekly reading becomes automatic. You never use the 20-20-20 loop. Most people think reading requires a long, uninterrupted block. Wrong. Your brain works in waves, not marathons. Use the 20-20-20 loop. 20 minutes reading, 20 minutes living, movement, chores, rest, 20 minutes reading again. Why does this work? Because movement resets mental fatigue. Your brain becomes sharper after micro breaks, not duller. 2 loops equals 80 minutes. Do that twice a week plus some audio listening. You've finished a book. This isn't discipline, it's rhythm. Once you ride the rhythm, reading becomes effortless. But rhythm dies instantly if you fall into the next trap, and this one ruins more evenings than anything else. Screens before reading 10:40 to 12, approximately 180 words. Screens are not neutral. They hijack your dopamine and make books feel slow, even when they aren't. So here's the shift. Analog before digital. One rule. 10 minutes. No phone, no notifications, no scrolling. Let your brain cool down. This is the digital sunset effect. Your mind interprets screens as daytime and books as nighttime. If you switch too fast, your brain refuses to drop into focus. 10 minutes tech-free creates the psychological doorway into the world of the book. Not discipline, temperature change, mental climate shift. And now, we reach the final mistake. The one that kills progress even when you're doing everything else right. You don't close the reading loop. Finishing a book isn't the end. Closing the loop is. Books fade unless you extract the 20% that matters. Every night, take 1 minute to capture one sentence, one idea, one action. That's it. Your brain loves closure. Closure builds memory. Memory builds identity. Identity builds habits. And habits build the version of you who finishes a book every week without even thinking about it. If this is already opening your eyes, tap like right now so YouTube pushes this to more people who need it. If you want more psychology-backed systems like this, subscribe. Not for motivation, but because every video here upgrades your operating system, one tiny evening at a time. 7 days from today, you could finish a book, or you could repeat another week that blurs together. The difference isn't discipline, it's design. Your evenings are the most valuable real estate in your life, not because they're long, but because they're yours. When you protect them, your future expands. When you leak them, your dreams shrink. The secret to reading a book in a week was never about time, it was about attention. And now that you know where your attention leaks, you can reclaim every lost minute. Not by trying harder, by living smarter. If you want that future, start tonight. 10 minutes, 1 page, 1 shift. Your future self will feel the difference long before you notice the progress.